people are coming in, so I'm losing track. However, good morning, Sara Onofrieti.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. And you?
Fine, thank you. Did you see, Sara, that I sent the lesson on time?
Yes, perfect.
I even sent it a day
Before.
before.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, Yan Rue. Yan Rue. Good morning, Chong Ji Jung Andrea.
Good morning.
You added Andrea to that name.
Yeah.
Why?
It's because it's easy to say.
Yes, but I want to learn the Chinese pronunciation. So all of these names give me a challenge here.
But the pronunciation is difficult.
So it's Chong Ji Jung.
No.
No.
Chen.
What is it? Tell me. Chang.
Chen.
Uh-huh.
The tone is Chen.
Chang.
Yeah,
And
and
then?
easy. Your tongue feel easy. Chen.
Chan.
Zhi.
And then Ju.
Yeah, perfect. Jiang.
So it's Ju. It's not Ji.
Zhi.
It's Ju
Yeah, not
Jung. Ju
Zhi.
Jung. Ju.
Zhi. The tone is
Relaxed.
Yeah, relaxed. Chen.
Ju
Zhi.
Jung.
Jiang.
Jang.
Jiang.
Jiang.
Yeah, perfect. Better
Very
and
Chong Ju Jung.
Chen.
Chen.
Yeah, Chen.
I can't get that
Okay.
that vowel there. But very nice. Okay, let's see who else has come along. Here is, so is it Chonggu?
Sì,
that-
sì, prof.
And Andrea, is that correct?
No.
No, you see, Chonggu said CC props because he's saying it's okay, you're saying it all right. But Andreas is correcting me. So how do you say it?
Chen Gu.
Chonggu. Chonggu.
Chen Gu.
Chonggu. He's laughing.
对吗？是跟我一个姓吧？
Yes, 是的，是的。
What is this what did you tell him?
I asked him, is the same economy? It's the same family name.
Oh, so you both have the same surname.
Yeah, it's very big family name.
So it's a common surname. Chong. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And also Zhang is a common surname. No? Zhang. Zhang. He's laughing. Okay. Good morning, Catherine. You said you were coming later.
Good morning. No, in fact, I was alone on queue, so 5 minutes and it's okay.
So, okay, fine. All right.
Timing.
Good morning, Shadi Shukohi. How do you pronounce your name? Are you there?
Buongiorno, teacher. I'm Shadi.
Shadi. How do you pronounce your surname?
Shokuhi.
And where are you? At the supermarket?
No, I'm in Tarambia.
Oh.
I'm arrived right now. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Okay, Shadi. All right. Let's start the lesson. So, does anybody want to volunteer to help me do the lesson, to do the reading and the comments?
I need to improve my English.
Oh, very good. So Marilena Savino. 1 point for Marilena. Okay, anybody else? I'm going to choose Shuerue.
Yes, okay. I can do that. Yes.
Okay. All right. Anybody else wants, or I just choose the people that I kind of that pop into my mind when I'm looking at the screen. Good morning, Francesca Parilla.
Good morning.
How are you, Francesca?
I'm okay.
Yeah, you look a bit tired.
A little bit. I'm not feeling really good in the previous week, but I'm okay now.
You feel better today?
Yeah.
Would you
Thank
like
you.
to do some reading today?
I'm not sure, but I can try.
Okay, so we try. I'll put a little question mark near your name.
Okay.
So she's not sure. Elisa Testi is smiling.
I try.
So I put Elisa, and then I put Georgia. Is that okay, Georgia?
Okay.
And let's see. Well, there was somebody else I wanted to have. Looks like she went away. I see all of these little faces here. Okay, so I'm not going to ask Valeria because Valeria is recuperating from her night.
No, it's okay.
All right,
It's okay.
Valeria and Lu Yuan.
Okay, Prof.
Yuan. Okay, and obviously, if anybody else wants to participate, they just, Okay, Chongji Jong, Andrea.
Yeah, you can give me a little part.
I know that you like to participate, so you participate whenever you want, okay?
Yeah, sense.
Okay, so I want to go over grammar at the beginning of the lesson. So I'm going to go back to lesson 2 and to look at the passive voice. And because in lesson 2, we had part 1 of the passive voice. And then in lesson 4, we have part 2, right? So I just want to go over it quickly. I think it's a review for most of you. But it's always something that's good to keep in mind. All right, so let's share the screen. Okay, so Marilena, can you read, please? From the top? Marilena Savino.
Yes. The passive voice one. To be plus past participle is the, sorry, is too small.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. Where'd you go? Is it this? Yeah. Is that better?
Okay, perfect. To be plus past participle is the basic form of the passive voice. Syntax: present simple passive, am, is, are, plus past participle. Past simple passive, was, were, plus past participle. Future passive, will, plus be, plus past participle.
Okay, good. The first rule.
We use the passive voice when the subject of the action is not important or not known, or when we do not want to say who the subject is. Consider: they clean the office every day, active. The office is cleaned every day, passive. The subject day is not specific and therefore may be unimportant, unknown, or secret.
Okay, very good. So this first example is an example of the present simple passive. So as you can see in the active sentence, the verb is in the present simple. In the passive sentence, the present simple passive of clean is cleaned. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. So Marilena, you continue.
The direct object of an active sentence becomes the subject of the passive sentence. Consider: they clean the office every day, active. Subject, verb, direct object.
Okay, so stop one moment. So this is a very classic syntax pattern here. We have the subject, they, the verb clean, and then the direct object, the office, and then when it occurs. That's a very classic syntax pattern. Now, read the passive one.
The office is cleaned every day.
Okay, so we're actually just repeating the sentences that we saw in the first example. As you can see, the office here, the direct object, right, becomes the subject of the passive sentence. So what do? When you, it's not that you're going to be converting active sentences to passive sentences, but when you express yourself with the passive voice, the direct object becomes the passive subject. Because if you consider it in the active sentence, the direct object receives the action of the verb. It receives it passively. Here, we're just putting it at the beginning, so it becomes the subject. And then the verb, however, has to change. Is cleaned every day. Okay, so let's just continue. Oops. I can't see what I'm doing. I have to make it a little bit smaller. All right. Okay, so Lu Si-yuan, can you read please?
Yes. We use by when we want to specify who does the action in the passive sentence. Consider: Johnny and Maria clean the office every day. Active: the office is cleaned by Johnny and Maria every day. Passive. Note: in the type of passive construction, subject pronouns become object pronouns, preceded by. They clean the office every day. Active: the office is cleaned by them every day. Passive.
Very good. Okay, so in the first part, we saw that the rule said that you use the passive voice when often when the subject, when an active subject isn't really important, or when it doesn't have to be specified. But there are times when you may want to specify who the let's say the subject that becomes the direct object in a passive sentence. So, for example, in the active sense, if Gianni and Maria clean the office every day, let's say in our passive sentence, we want to specify who this cleaning is being done by. So we add by. The office is cleaned by Gianni and Maria every day. Now, the only thing that becomes a bit complex here, but it's not really that complex, is that sometimes you may want to even specify, right, in your passive sentence, pronoun. So if your active sentence is they clean the office every day, right, and you want to specify in the passive sentence who is doing the action, the subject pronoun becomes an object pronoun. All right, so all of this is just blah, blah, blah grammar, right? But you need to remember what are the subject pronouns and what are the object pronouns, right? So if I say, let's see who remembers now. If I say I, which is a subject pronoun, what is the object pronoun of I? Lu Suyuan, do you know?
Yeah, me.
Very good. And he?
He, him.
Excellent. So you know, you remember your grammar. Okay, so can you give me an example? You're the first one to give me an example, but give me an example. Let's see. First, give me an example with like a specific subject in an active sentence and try and change it if you can. I don't know.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yes. All right. Give me an example of a passive sentence.
Yeah. The breakfast is done.
Okay, the breakfast is done. And if you're in a hotel, the breakfast is?
The breakfast is prepared.
Okay. Okay, so the breakfast is prepared. Punto. All right. So and then what if you wanted to say the breakfast is prepared by?
The breakfast is prepared by the waiter.
Very good. Very good. And so the breakfast is prepared by the waiter. Passive sentence. Can you give me the active sentence of that?
Yeah, the waiter prepared the breakfast.
Very good. The waiter prepares.
Prepares.
Very good. Excellent. Okay. Continue reading, please.
Yeah, the passive voice is often used in formal or technical writing. Example: the meaning is covered by a few well-chosen words.
Okay, so it's not. Excuse me, I'm interrupting. It's not covered. It's conveyed.
Conveyed.
What does that mean? Do you know?
No.
That's a difficult word. Yeah. Does anybody know the meaning of conveyed? Marilena, do you know the meaning of conveyed?
I don't know.
Georgia?
No.
It's something like transport. It's carried by.
Okay, that's one meaning of convey. Very good. But okay, so if you use it in that way, try and think of it in a figurative way. Okay, so if you say transport, okay, that's one way of using it. But if you say the meaning is conveyed by a few chosen words,
display.
Excuse me?
Display.
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 I don't understand.
Explain.
Explained. Okay, kind of. All right. So let's put explained and transport together. So it is revealed to you. All right. Or yeah, So it's, I guess you've understood. Okay. Georgia, continue reading.
Our planet is converted by a mass of gases.
Okay, so it's not converted, it's covered.
Covered, okay.
Ah.
Covered by a mass of gases. Different types of oils are used in oil painting.
Is that true?
Yes, it's true.
What type of oils are used in oil painting?
I don't use it because I don't like oil painting, but I know that, how do you say in English, olio di lino, cotto?
Oh, I used to know, but now it has escaped my mind. Does anybody know? Elisa Testi, olio di lino. How do you say that? Is it linen oil?
Yes, I think.
Okay.
I think it's a linseed oil.
Linseed. Who said linseed?
Angela.
Very good, Angela. I couldn't it wasn't coming to my mind. It's linseed.
Yes.
Very good. Okay.
I think there are also the poppy oil.
Poppy oil? Yes. Very good. Who said that? Because I can't see you guys.
雪瑞.
Okay, sure. All right. So let's look at the second lesson that is in your lesson. All right, so here we have now, this is a bit more complicated because we're looking at different ways in which the passive voice can be used, because you can also talk about the passive voice using the future, the present perfect, the past perfect, past continuous, future perfect. All right, so this is kind of more complex grammar, but we just have to look through it. All right, so Francesca Parilli. So Francesca Parilli, you can read. But no, Francesca wasn't feeling well, so I'll have Elisa do it. Elisa, start with we use the future passive.
Okay. The past voice, passive voice, to be plus participle is the basic form of the passive voice.
Okay. Now, without doing the syntax, all right?
Syntax,
just go on to the first rule.
Yeah, future passive, will plus be plus participle.
No, Elisa, let's skip the syntax and go on to the first rule. You understand? We use the future passive.
We use the future passive. Okay, we use the future passive to describe the future production of an action.
Okay, so it's not production, it's prediction.
Prediction.
What does prediction mean?
I don't have in English.
Do you know?
In English, no.
Okay, so let's see.
Something that will happen in the future, maybe.
So who said that? Georgia?
Georgia.
Very good. Very good. Continue, Elisa.
Example, the room will be cleaned after they go away, and the guest will be greeted in the main dining hall after the ceremony.
Okay, so Elisa, the word is dining hall.
Is a
no. Can you pronounce it correctly? You did not pronounce it correctly. It's dining hall.
Dining hall.
Okay, and can you pronounce the first word of the sentence, please, of these two sentences? What is that first word?
Mean. No, main.
No, the first word of the sentence.
the guest.
You said, am I, 1 second. Let me just come back here. So all of you who know me, and Elisa knows me because she's had me as a professor before. Elisa said de. Is that the correct pronunciation of that word?
Maybe
No.
Elisa, in the triennial, how much did I torment you and all of the students for the correct pronunciation of that word? Did I say that it was de?
they.
The. Is that correct? Let's see. Angela, is that correct?
Almost, yes.
Oh, she says
The.
almost.
The.
Okay, so Angela says duh.
No. Sorry, it's my accent, but it should be the guests.
Okay, so we're getting close here. Now, Hanshu was shaking his head. Said, no, that's not the right pronunciation. So he must know. Let's see, Hanshu.
Definitely the guest, because guest. The we shouldn't say the in front of okay? And the other for how to say that A-I-O-U, okay? Only non può essere, cioè non può combinare.
Non può essere. So he's mixing his Italian here now with his English. So everybody, the correct pronunciation is achieved if you put your tongue out of your mouth like this. I know you don't want to be snakes, but that will help you at the beginning. Look at you. All right, so the pronunciation is the. It's not de, it's not the, it's the. So can everybody do that for me so I can see you do it? The. Oh, all right. So let me hear Elisa say it.
The.
That's much better. Let me hear Barbara.
Good morning, Prof.
Good morning.
Do I have to do that? Yes.
Yes, you have to do that.
The.
Again? No. Tongue out.
The.
No, Barbara, you're saying da. It's the. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Now, obviously, you can imagine this is all very surreal if you consider that we're looking at all these little faces and we're sticking out our tongues and we're
a little bit.
Wang ini. Let me hear your pronunciation.
Yes. The.
Yes. Jana.
The.
That's Jangna. Now then Joanna Fernandez.
The.
You're saying da. It's the. Your tongue.
The.
All right. Okay, so that's enough of that. Let's get back to the lesson. At least we have a little smile on our face.
I have an example.
Yes.
For that future passive.
Okay, wait, Elisa. Let me just go back to let me put it on and then you'll give us your nice example. Very good. Why did it go here? What is this? Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Sorry. All right, give me your example, Elisa.
For the future passive, maybe that share will be booked for sale after Christmas. Maybe.
The chair? The chair?
That chair will be booked for sale after Christmas.
Okay, so just one little correction. So it's the chair will be bought on sale. On sale. That's just, yeah. Sometimes our prepositions in English are not used in the same way as in Italian. On sale after Christmas. Very good. All right.
And I continue? No.
No, I'll have somebody else continue. Let's have Angela.
Yes. Okay, we use the present perfect passive to describe indefinite time periods and the duration form. Example: I think that my keys have been stolen. He hasn't been since the accident.
He hasn't been seen.
Been seen. Okay.
Okay, so that's a difficult one. You try and do it.
Okay. We can say I think that okay. I'm used to write, so I'm when I have to say it, it's
I know.
Okay, we can say
okay, so 1 second. While Angela is thinking of her examples, I think everybody else should be thinking of examples for the next things, for all of the other rules, because this is the difficult part. And everybody's thinking, oh, so she asked Angela, she's not going to ask me. That's not true. I may ask you by surprise. So think of an example for the other ones, because here we're doing kind of difficult grammar. So, Angela, the syntax is have, has, plus been, plus the past participle. Have you thought of something?
We can say the cat has been lost.
The cat has been lost.
Yes.
Yes. Is it true? Has your cat been lost?
No. I was just watching at my head, so maybe we can say that.
All right. Next one. So, if you remember our lesson on the narrative tenses, everybody should know what the past perfect is. So let me ask Valeria to read this one.
Okay, I'm there. Okay. Past perfect passive. See rules regarding the past perfect in the narrative tenses lesson. Consider the following examples of active and passive sentences. She didn't not have any money because she had lost her wallet. She didn't not have any money because her wallet has been lost.
Had been lost. So do you remember the rule for the past perfect?
Yes.
So it's something, there are two actions in the past, right? And the past person expresses the one that happens first, or the most distant. Okay. All right. So can you give me an example?
Of the second example, or
the passive example, right? It's a passive example with past perfect.
Okay. He didn't not have no, I'm sorry.
Okay,
let me think about it.
Yes, you need to think, because as I said, these are difficult. But 1 second, I have to correct your pronunciation. You continue to say he didn't not, but it's he did not.
Yeah, sorry, it did not.
It's either he didn't, or she did not.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me. So you think of an example, and now I'm going to ask somebody just by surprise. Salvatore, do you have an example with the past perfect?
I try.
Yeah.
Past perfect. I had seen Eternals 2 times.
No, that's not past perfect. So look at past perfect. The syntax. So past perfect is had been. You know, you missed the been and the past participle.
I missed the been.
Yeah. So we could say the movie had been seen
the movie had been seen 2 times by me, where some people didn't seen
See
yet.
it. Okay, I didn't see it yet. Okay, so as you can see, these sentences are kind of, they don't seem very comfortable on your tongue, in my opinion, right? Because they're, as I said, this passive form is used often for formal or technical writing. So to use it like this and to ask you to do, all of you students to do an example, it just, it just doesn't fall nicely on our tongues. So in the meantime, Valeria, have you thought of an example?
I think, for example, I didn't have drunk, and
I didn't have a drink.
yeah, sorry, have a drink, and I had carried my friends at home.
No.
No, it's not correct.
Okay.
It's not correct. I hate to make examples.
Because you have, I know. I tell you, these things are very difficult. If you missed your syntax. It's had been.
Okay, had
Okay.
been, okay.
But all right, so I'll have you think of your example a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think so.
And then maybe I'll come back to you.
Sorry, I have an
What?
example.
And who is this? Because I can't see you.
Marilena.
Name. Marilena, why? What's your example?
The dog was sick because the chocolate had been eaten by the dog.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I have?
All right. All right. And now who is this that's speaking?
Elisa.
Elisa, you have an example too?
She didn't paint because her canvas had been lost.
Oh, yes. Very good examples. The dog was an unusual one. Okay, next one. Past continuous passive. So everybody think of examples here. All right, so let's see. Who can I call? Oh, jouer.
Yes. Past continuous passive. Syllabus regarding the past continuous in the narrative tenses lesson. Consider the following examples of active and passive sentences. You called while she was feeding the baby. Active. You called while the baby was being fed. Passive. Were they discussing the problem when you entered the room? Active. Was the problem being discussed when you entered the room? Passive.
Very good. Reading. Now, I'm going to give you time to think of an example because you were the reader. And then I will ask somebody else. Hanshu, can you give me an example of past continuous sentence in the past continuous passive? What is that noise? Hanshu, are you there, or was that?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm thinking about it. Right.
Okay.
Moment. Passive continuous passive, right?
Yeah.
Past,
Yeah.
Continuous passive. Okay. Well. Empty.
Okay, she's empty. All right. Okay, you think, and I'll get back to you. Wang ini.
Sorry, I should.
You need to.
I need to think.
Okay. Okay, you need to think. All right, I'm going to call another one. Another
Can I
person.
try, Prof?
Who said that?
Barbara Trevisone.
Oh, vai, Barbara.
Okay. Story were being written by students while the teacher was explaining the lesson.
2 points again for Barbara.
Thank you.
Everybody say yay, Barbara. So, you know what, Barbara? Start that sentence with while.
Okay, so while the stories were
No. While the professor was
explaining the lesson, stories were being written by students.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent. All right. So let's get back to the other people who said they needed time. Rue, did you think of a sentence?
Yes, kind of. It's like you interrupt me while the book was being read.
Yes, because the book cannot be reading, but was
Yes.
being read.
Was being read.
Very good. Hanshu.
All right. My girlfriend came back home while I was taking shower.
No, that's not passive.
That's not?
No.
Okay. My girlfriend entered the room while I was sleeping.
Hanshu, you're giving me examples of the past continuous, not past continuous passive.
Oh,
past continuous passive is was being fed or was being or were and it was being discussed. Okay, so last one. Wang?
Can I try?
Can I try? Who said that?
Elisa.
Elisa, right?
When we finished the apple was being eaten by Marco. No?
Yes. Okay, good. All right, so let's go on to the last example. Marilena.
Yes.
Please read.
We use the future perfect passive.
Yes?
Okay. We use the future perfect passive to refer to actions that we imagine in the future. By the end, by the time, in our expression that often accompany the future perfect. In this context, by means no later than a particular time, and in means within a period of time. Consider the following examples of active and passive sentences. I think astronomers will have discovered other galaxies by 2050. Active. I think other galaxies will have been discovered by 2050. Passive. It is quite possible that in 2050 other galaxies will have been discovered. Passive.
So everybody think of an example, because this is a difficult one, another difficult one. And then let's finish with this passive voice, this boring grammar.
I think I got one example.
And who is this?
Sara.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. I think the book will have been finished by the end of the month. Makes sense?
Excellent.
Okay.
Very good. 1 point for Sara.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I would like to try again. Valeria speaking.
Fine, Valeria.
I think students will have graduated by the end of the year.
No.
Oh, okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, so well, think about that again.
Sorry.
So it has to be the construction is will have been. You see that?
Okay. So
Okay.
I think a student will have been graduated by the end of the year.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. I mean, the structure, the construction of the sentence is correct, but it doesn't make sense because you graduate, but you cannot graduate passively. It's not a verb. You understand what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can say many degrees. Okay, so that's what you receive at the end of your, or many diplomas will have been received. Okay, at the end of the year. Okay. Good. Anybody else?
I try.
Okay, who is that? Salvatore?
Go, Marilena, go.
I'm sorry?
No, please.
Okay,
No,
I
no.
can't because I'm
Go,
not
go.
able to see who was the first person who spoke. Was that Salvatore?
Yeah, but she goes.
No. Okay, first Salvatore, then after the other person. Go.
Okay. Uffizi will have been visited by some people
Okay.
this year.
Very good. Very good. And the next person, who was it? Name?
Marilena.
Marilena, vai.
The roof will have been repaired by them.
Okay. Or let's say, give it a date. The roof will have been repaired by
them.
No. Give it instead of them.
Okay.
Give
By
it a date.
December.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So let's hear some feedback here. Do you find this type of stuff difficult?
Yeah.
Okay, Jangna says yes. Valeria Chiarini says yes. Anybody else? Is it kind of, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of twisted. Don't you find? It's not linear. It's twisted.
It's not difficult to understand, but it's difficult to use.
Right. I agree. Anybody else? Did anyone find it easy? Sara, is it easy for you?
It's not difficult for me to do an examples, but we don't use the passive in Italian. That's in the regular normal life. So not
Okay,
that.
so but 1 second. All right. If we use another language as our subject of comparison, for example, Italian, and then let's go on to Chinese. In Italian, the passive voice, you correct me, Sara, is it often, if we translate, for example, the English to Italian, would we use the verb venire to create the passive voice? So, for example, I can't think of a name. What was that really classic? The room is cleaned every day. La stanza viene pulita ogni giorno.
No, okay, yeah, that's right. We use venire or the essere.
Or
we
essere.
Use also avere.
Because la stanza è pulita ogni giorno.
Yes.
That's also correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now let me ask my man Hanshu.
You want to ask me about Chinese?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, really? Okay, come on.
Is there something similar to the passive, this kind of concept of passivity?
Yes.
Yeah.
It has.
But how do you communicate it? Because somebody told me that, for example, it's not as if in Chinese you have the past, the future, or the whatever, the present. That is sort of, you have a verb and then you have at the end of the sentence something that tells you that
we don't transform the verb itself. We add some words we add some words to express the future, the passive, and the past.
So you don't transform the verb, but you add some sort of a word that tells you that it's. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I could say that.
Yeah.
So that's it. Okay, nothing to say.
All right, let's go on to the poem, and then we'll take a break. Okay, so I'm going to ask Barbara.
Yes.
To read.
Can I start?
Yes.
Okay. A sepal, petal, and a thorn upon a common summer's morn.
Okay,
a
stop.
flask of...
Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay.
Okay, so the word is sepal.
Sepal. Okay.
Petal, and then you pronounce this word. You said torn, and instead it's th. Therefore, you have to do that thing with your tongue
Thorn.
again. You have to
thorn.
Yes, it's a thorn.
Thorn.
All right. Very good.
Okay.
So a sepal, a petal, and a thorn.
A thorn.
Do you know what a sepal is?
Is the outer part of the flower of a flower? No.
Okay, but if you say an outer part, you could even say that a petal is the outer part.
Yes. It's the part that surround the petals.
Okay, and it's kind of underneath, right?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, and what is a petal?
Is
this
the
is
outer
kind of difficult. Yes. Explain. Catherine, what is a petal?
A part of a flower.
Yes, but a sepal is a part of a flower, and a thorn too. What is a petal?
The prettiest part, the color.
Let me ask somebody else. Lucian, what is a petal?
I think the most beautiful part of the flower.
Okay, so you agree with Catherine, but if you
Yeah.
tell me it's the most beautiful part of the flower, the most beautiful part of the flower could be the stem, in your opinion, or it could be the thorn, in your opinion. A petal, you can't say it's the most beautiful part. You have to say exactly what it is, because that's an opinion. All right, so
Yeah.
wait a second. So you think, and I want Wang Ini to tell me, what is a petal?
I think it is the part when we see a flower, we think that this is the flower. The part is the flower. It is petal.
Okay, so all of you have not given me.
It is the colored part, no? It is the upper part of the flower, and usually
All
it's
right, so
colored.
who said this? Who said
Sarah.
this? Sarah?
Sarah, yes.
Oh, there we're getting a little bit more precise. So Sarah says it's the colored part of the flower.
Italian, sorry, in Italian we say corolla. I don't know what's the English for corolla. Because
Is
it's
this
what
Georgia
made a
speaking?
corolla. Yes, it's what
Okay, so
made a
Georgia,
corolla.
Georgia,
Yes.
look, go do some investigation now. Look on the internet and tell me what is corolla. So, Sarah, you said it's the colored part, but can you give me some more information?
I will say that is the upper is the last part of the flower, the first you see, and usually is the color part. It is one small part of the maybe.
And what does it have a shape?
Yes.
For example?
That's difficult.
Okay, so this is just an example. We all know what petals are, but it's very difficult to define the word petal because you just have the image in your mind, right? So a lot of people say it's the most beautiful part, or it's the colored part.
Sorry.
Yes.
Petal is the subject to the play Love Me or Don't Love Me.
So okay. Petal is the subject of the game.
Yeah,
Right?
the game. Yeah.
Yes. He loves me. He loves me. He doesn't love me. Yes.
Exactly. And I think that the petals are oval, I think,
Okay.
in some flowers.
And some flowers. That's right. That's right. So let's leave it like that. It's very difficult to define. What about thorn? Barbara, what is a thorn?
The thorn is the sharp projection of the stem of the plant or flower in this.
Now we're being more precise. Yes, yes. Okay. And what does the word common mean, Barbara?
Common is something that is usual.
Very good. So it's not something that's rare. It's something that's every day.
Every day,
right?
Yes.
Or usual, as you said. And morn, what does that mean?
In this case, it's morning.
Very good. Very good. So it's an abbreviation of
Abbreviation of the word morning.
Very good. All right. Sarah, continue reading.
Okay. A flask of dew, a bee or two, a breeze, a caper in the trees, and I'm a rose.
Okay. What is a flask?
I think it's like I wrote container, but it doesn't make sense. It's like a small part of a dew, maybe in this sentence.
No, you're right. It's a container of liquids.
Okay.
Okay. A breeze?
A breeze, wind, like brezza in Italiano. Wind. Sorry, wind.
Okay, but it's a light wind, right?
Okay, yes.
It's not a strong wind.
No, yes.
And caper?
A silly activity.
Oh, okay. So it's not a capital, right?
Okay, yeah.
No, okay. Everybody knows because maybe some of you looked in the dictionary and you're thinking that it's the thing that you use to cook with, but it's not. It's like a playful activity.
Yeah,
Caper
something
in the
that
trees.
makes people laugh.
All right. Okay, so Barbara, in the first two lines, we say that you read a sepal, a petal, and a thorn upon a common summer's morn. Do you have an image of what she's referring to? Before you get to the part of the rose, if you just read those lines, do you have an image of what she's referring to?
Obviously, I think of a soft summer morning. So, and I see that she's describing a flower. So
okay.
I see, yes.
All right, so it's a flower.
I see a flower, yes.
And you said a very soft summer morning.
Yes, I don't know, the image of the summer morning with the description of a flower, it makes me think of something soft. That's why.
Right. Okay, and the word common, okay, what does it mean? That it's a morning like every other morning?
Yes, I think in this case, yes, because we say that common is usual occurring, so it's not something rare.
Very good. So, but in my opinion, this word common has within it, after you read the whole poem, a kind of a contradiction. But let's get to that afterwards. So, Sara, when you read the last two lines, the third and the second lines, is does the image become clearer?
Not not for me, but I see the same thing. So like I don't know, the first imagine picture in the morning, I see, I don't know, the sea, but it doesn't make any sense.
All right, no, it's okay. Just sit with you. And then do you also see a flower?
Flowers and bees.
Okay, so so she says a sepal, a petal, and a thorn upon a common summer morn. All right, and Barbara says, okay, she sees a flower and it's a soft summer morning, and you're also seeing the sea in the distance. Now, Sara, if we say a flask of dew,
yeah,
do you know what that is referring to?
I will say like a container of liquid, in this case, like condensation.
Okay,
I don't know.
And what is the container? Are you aware?
Yes.
What is it?
It's like a small.
No. I'm not asking what is a container. What is the container in this poem?
No.
You know?
No.
Okay. So it's a flower.
It makes sense.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. So we have a sepal, a petal, and a thorn upon a common summer's morn, a flask of dew. So it's referring to the poem, this flower as a container of dew. What is dew, everybody? Can you give me the translation in Italian?
It's like the rugiada.
That's right, rugiada.
Okay.
All right, a bee or two. So we're always getting more and more information about what's happening here. So we go back to Barbara, we say, and to Sara, there's a flower or there are flowers. It's a soft morning. This one of these flowers, or maybe all of these flowers, are since it's a morning time, there's dew on the flowers. They're containing this dew, and then there are bees. And then there is a breeze. And then what happens? A caper in the trees. So let's go back to Barbara. Why a caper in the trees?
Because the breeze is making the flowers move, the stem moves. So it looks like a dance.
So it looks like a dance. And then she comes to say, and I'm a rose. All right? So think about this now. Then I'll come back to our group. Is the subject of the poem a rose that describes itself? Think about it. Or is the persona Emily Dickinson, who through her description becomes a rose? Or is it perhaps both?
I think.
Okay,
yeah.
1 second. Let me come back.
Sorry, Elisa.
Elisa, I
Okay.
think the Emily Dickens take the point of view of the rose becoming a rose. I think.
Okay. All right. So Elisa says that. Valeria, what were you saying?
I think that the poem is describe the act of conception of a rose. So Emily Dickinson talk about bees and copper. So I think like conception of a rose.
Okay, so it's can you, what is the word that you're using? Conception?
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
You wanted to say another word.
Conception.
I think you're trying to doing an Italian word into an English
Yeah,
word.
no, I don't think it's the same word, but
okay, wait, Valeria, check and see what your word in Italian is in English. So we're saying is
conception.
Conception,
yeah.
So like the creation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Does anybody else see it as Emily Dickinson becoming a rose?
Yes, I think as a beginning, Emily Dickinson is an observer of the whole morning, the grass, the flower, things. And then line to line, as we read the poem, and at the end, Emily Dickinson become the flower and become part of the whole environment.
Okay, so Barbara seems to be agreeing with you straight away. Barbara?
Yeah, through the descriptions of my colleagues, I'm changing the image that I had before. So I'm kind of understanding different things about the poem.
And for example?
Like the fact that it's about conception.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I kind of see it now, and I also see the fact that through the observation of the situation of the common summer morning, she's becoming what she's seeing.
Yeah.
So I see that too now.
Okay. Excellent work, everybody. So think about it. That word common, right? A usual situation isn't really so common at the end. Because it is through art, right, that things can be created, and it is through art that things become transformed. So if we look at it as Valeria, and I can't remember who else the other person was saying, that it is just Elisa. It is the artist who, through the description, describes and creates the rose. It is also through art that the artist becomes transformed. I'm kind of seeing it this way. Does anybody have anything else? Sara, what are you thinking?
For me, it's easier.
Okay, it's easier. Why?
Yeah, it's like I don't know. She feels like the flowers. I don't know. It's like empathy in this case for me.
So not so much that the art is transforming her. Through her art, she becomes transformed, but it's just her empathy.
Yeah, for me, yes, yes.
Okay, let's see.
I also think that through common things, we make art, we create art. So it's like through the vision of common things, of a common morning or a flower of something of sorts, we create other things. So art comes from normal things, usual things.
Mm-hmm. But it is the vision of the artist that transforms these common things.
That changes the thing we see, yes.
Catherine?
Yes, I was just thinking about the fact of blowing.
Mm-hmm.
You said she was probably making a kind of transformation, and maybe this common summon morn can be just the fact that the kind of serenity at the moment, and she realized that she is a part of the whole things, like I said, and she's not becoming a rose, but she's blowing. She is at the moment in her life, and she is pretty. She has color, and she is not a button, and she's blowing. She is becoming a woman, or maybe growing up.
Maybe another way. That's another way of seeing it. All right. So, Valeria, Carini, and then Salvatore.
Yeah, I think that for the nature, could be a common journey, a common morning, but for humans, humans is always fascinated about the nature. Okay. So for Dickinson, is not so common to see the nature become art. So for the nature is a simply thing to do, to make.
It's the intrinsic nature of nature. However, for the artist, it's something that's not so common.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, very good. Salvatore?
I think that the first part try to describe the creation of an idea, because a common flower is generic, cioè a petal, a thorn, but at the last, when the idea come personified by a bee or two, the authors transform in a rose, in a specific flower. So it's a transition.
It's a transition.
Yeah.
Okay. But think about it. So this poem seems quite simple, right? But the more you go into it, the more, this is Emily Dickinson at the purest form. It seems like it's just a very simple, lighthearted thing, and then it becomes much more. But every time I read it, it just sort of, my mind gets so tangled, because I'm just wondering, is it she that becomes the rose, or is it just her description of the rose? And I'd always like to share this with students to hear what their opinion is. Hello, who's speaking?
Catherine, I would just wanted to add that if she's blowing, maybe the bee or two can be lovers.
Oh, so Catherine is very romantic here. Huh?
Yes. It can be very romantic and also erotic if you think about it.
Oh, okay. Does anybody see this type of interpretation?
Or bees are people. Without people, we can't grow.
Huh.
Without the meeting with other people.
That's right. That's right. So you see, there's so much you can put into this. All right. So, hello?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, Valeria.
Maybe Dickinson could describe a lover or a falling in love to someone, and the sentence "I'm a rose" is like a declaration of her love, because rose is a symbol of the love.
Oh, that's nice. It's a declaration of her love.
Yeah.
Joërie, I see you smiling there. What do you think about that?
Yes, I'm actually thinking about a Chinese philosopher. This poem made me reminds of him. It's called 庄子. Do anyone of you know him? It's like he is a successor of Lao Tzu. He is a successor of Lao Tzu, and he actually has a theory, like it's very like a poem. Like one day he dreamed of himself become a butterfly, and then when he awake, and he suddenly realized maybe it's not me. Maybe it's not me become a butterfly. It's a butterfly become me. So it doesn't matter. It is the Emily Dickinson become the rose, or the rose become Emily Dickinson. We cannot tell, and it doesn't matter. It's just it's a question, and it's romantic. Give us space to imagine it.
What can I say? 5 points.
Thank you.
Can you give us, can you send us, or send me the translation of that story?
Of course.
And then I'll post it in the next lesson, because I like that story.
Yes. Can I send you by email or something? Yes, of course.
You can send it in.
can
Excellent work. Okay, so let's take a 5-minute break. So at 10:20, everybody, or 10:21, I don't know. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
So Valeria, drink your coffee.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So we're going to be looking at Christian Lohr, the artist Christian Lohr. But before we do her readings or go over her readings, I would like to go back to lesson 1 just for a moment to review some of the concepts that we studied regarding space. All right, so I'll have, let's see, I'll have Barbara do the reading.
Okay.
I've asked you, Barbara, because you weren't here when we did this lesson.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Barbara, can you start reading, please?
Yes. Space. Picture space. The space represented within the picture frame. Theatrical space. The space in which a performance takes place. Compositional space. The space around sculpture and installations. Related descriptive concepts. Background. Foreground.
Okay, stop 1 second. Do you know what background means?
Background is some in the back of the subject or
Okay,
the.
and in Italian, the translation?
Sfondo.
Sfondo.
Lo sfondo.
Okay,
Grazie.
good. And foreground?
Foreground, the front, in the
and
front.
in Italian?
I don't
Primo
remember.
piano.
I don't remember.
Primo piano.
Primo piano. Very good. All right, continue reading, Barbara.
Figure ground relationship. Figure, what seems to remain in the foreground. Figures movement. Ground, what seems to remain in the background. Okay. The relationship between these two elements creates the artistic object or situation. Negative and positive space. Negative, all of the space not occupied by form. Positive, the space occupied by form.
Okay, very good. So I wanted to go over these terms because Christian Lohr, when she speaks about her work, she refers to a lot of these concepts. She refers to background. She refers to, well, not precisely to figure ground, but she refers to it indirectly. And she refers specifically to negative and positive space. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
All right, so let me come back 1 second. All right. Is it clear to all of you the meaning of negative and positive space? Yes? Marilena Savino?
Yes.
Is that clear to you, negative and positive space?
Yes.
All right. All right, so I'll leave that suspended, this question, because everybody says yes. Let's do the reading and see if we understand what she means when she speaks about negative and positive space. Obviously, she means the same things we know, but let's see what it means when she refers to this concept in her work. All right, so let's share the screen again. Okay. Marilena, read, please.
I am a sculptor, and
okay, stop. I'm sorry to interrupt you right away, but can you read that fourth word,
sculpture.
Okay. Now, be careful, everybody, with pronunciation, because what? Okay, I'm going to use Italian as our language of comparison. She said, if I translate, what Marilena said. She said, "Io sono una scultura."
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the scultura, the object, is sculpture. The artist who does the sculpture is a sculptor. I'm a sculptor.
Sculptor.
Bye.
Okay. I am a sculptor, and although my material is not normal, it is not wood or bronze, what I do is actually sculpture.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so this is Christiane Lord is not her mother tongue is not English. It's German. So sometimes her syntax is not really the perfect, but I wrote exactly what she wrote in, I don't know where I found this, in someplace. Okay. So actually said, what I do is actually sculpture. What I actually do is sculpture. That would be more correct. Go ahead, Marilena.
I work with negative and positive spaces. I work with distance, mathematics, arrangement, the concept of organic, as well as how a work should be placed in a space and the relationship that occurs between the pieces and the observer. These issues have always been pertinent in sculpture, whether it be classical or not. They make me reflect.
Very good. What is the meaning of issue?
Like theme, point, or
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is the meaning of pertinent?
Like relevant, appropriate.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So how a work should be placed in a space and the relationship that occurs between the pieces and the observer. So Catherine is our sculptor here. What does she mean by that?
About the relationship you're talking about, this relationship, the relationship between the piece and the observer is the feeling and emotions that one can feel when watching a sculpture.
And it's determined by how it is placed in a space?
Depends of the sculpture, but maybe what she is doing is in need of a special space.
Okay, so
to make it work, to make it work. So the issue depends of the space and the installation. Maybe. I just say maybe.
So 1 second, Barbara. She says. Christiane says that she needs a special space. Is it that she needs a special space, or that the space becomes sort of somehow transformed by how she puts the works of art?
I think it's the second one, because I think she refers to her piece as something more than just the material she uses. So the way the sculpture is observed changes the space itself. So it has to do with the relationship with the space that she thinks the sculpture has with the space, and the observer, the public, has with her work.
Okay, so the space, her artwork, and the space that it is represented in are not just two separate entities. They're one thing of the.
No, I think they are related.
They're related, so they're not just it. They're not the. They don't become the work of art. They're just related.
Maybe she sees it as a part of her piece. So yes, it becomes part of her work.
Okay.
The space in which is placed.
Angela, what do you think? Do you agree?
Yes, I'm looking at the image of her work, and I think that the space really is a very the space where you exhibit your work is a really very important piece of the whole artwork. So you can't detach it one from another.
You can't detach it from. Okay, all right. Continue reading, Angela.
Yes. We are nature, yet we feel detached from it. I have never felt this detachment. I have never felt that I am here and nature is there. I feel truly involved in the cycle of life.
What is the meaning of detach and detachment?
It's like to divide something.
Okay, right. Or to remove, to be removed from something.
Yeah. Maybe to remove it. Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's think of that because if she says we are nature, we feel detached from it. I have never felt this detachment. So like Emily Dickinson, she's really she feels a part of nature. And if we consider what Barbara said just before, there is no detachment between the work of art and how she puts it within a space. She also wants this type of this kind of union also in her work. All right. Let's see. So continue, Angela.
Yes. My gesture seeks to create order. I gather the elements where I find them, and then I find a mathematical rule to put them together. My work is very much related to space, its role within the sculpture, as well as how the sculpture determines the space within a show. When you see my pieces, you cannot say this is where the sculpture begins and this is where it finishes.
What does that mean, that last part?
Well, you don't have when maybe you don't know where to look exactly because you need to look the whole piece. So there is no a beginning or the end.
Okay. Let me ask somebody else. Salvatore, when you see my pieces, you cannot say this is where the sculpture begins and this is where it finishes.
I think that it's related to the purpose to create a relationship between nature and the sculpture. So if the sculpture is inside the theatrical space, the sculpture, the work is finished because we don't have the separation between nature and the work.
That's interesting. I didn't think of it that way. I thought of it just that since her work is much related to space, she says, the space is that in which the sculpture stays, right, is a part of the artwork. And therefore, you cannot say that the sculpture, this is the sculpture and this is a space. It's all continuous. However, what you say is interesting because once, hey, that's fascinating because once you take it outside of nature, which is what she does, and then she puts it in a gallery space, she's kind of created something that does finish. It finishes there. It's no longer a part of nature. Is that what you're saying?
I think she's trying to hide the sculpture in the nature and homologate all the nature around the sculpture.
Okay. Continue reading.
To recreate the flower, the wood. It's like an ecologist with some part of evolution.
Okay, continue reading. Salvatore.
Yeah, I often work with gravitations. The sculptures take on a form due to weight. There is also collaboration between what I bring to the sculpture and what the material brings, its characteristics. Many pieces in this way find their form through gravity.
Okay, so as we're reading this, I want all of you to write down the let's say the of these points, which of these points seems the most interesting to you. So as we're reading, everybody write down, you know, what you think is most interesting, or what is most interesting for her, or more important for her. So she says here that what I bring, there has to be a collaboration between what she brings to sculpture, that is her ideas, and what the material brings, its characteristics. Catherine, what do you think about that? This collaboration between material and
I think she integrates of some kind of casuality of the materials, because one have to see the work she does, because first I talked without seeing the photography. So now I've seen the photography, my mind is quite different, because this heart is, for me, full of emptiness. And the emptiness is a part of the work. She integrates the space, and also when she talks about gravity, she integrates the force of the material and the force of the emptiness. Everything is a part of each one is a part of the art.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's an excellent comment, because you've gone back to the first point when she says that the most important thing for her, I don't remember how she says it exactly. She says, she said, I work with negative and positive spaces, right?
The negative is what I call emptiness.
The emptiness, right?
Our sculptor teacher said, empty contains something.
Mm-hmm.
But we are talking about art figurative, because we make figures, we make portraits. So, for example, for an eye, you have an empty form that receives the eye. So you have an empty and something full inside.
Okay.
But in this case, you have to imagine, and you have to put something, some idea of you in the empty. She lets the emptiness is a place she left for you to fill in. Maybe you're
okay.
I think it's an invitation to participate the artwork.
Okay, so wait a second. Now this is an interesting point. So jouer, something that Catherine says makes me think of another thing. So the positive space, the form, is just as important as the negative space, the empty spaces around it. There are meanings in both of these things. Are you?
Yes, I'm agree. I'm agree of this. Yes, the negative space, you cannot tell that the positive space is the object, and the negative space is the thing. They are not like important as the positive space. They are both important, and maybe the space is some kind of object we are not we're not understand well yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So you're saying that they're interdependent one on the other.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Can you continue reading, please?
My work originates from a process, not from an idea. It is always an experiment, and when the work is before me, I reflect on what it is and what it means. I believe that ultimately my reflections are on life. There are many parallels that can be drawn between our lives, between everything. If we pay attention to small things, fragile things, invisible things, another relationship with life will be created. I think this is the lesson of my work.
Okay, so she says, my work originates from a process, not from an idea.
Yes.
Is this, do you see any similarities to Agnes Martin? Because Agnes Martin, for example, says, I don't have any ideas myself. I have a vacant mind in order to do exactly what inspiration calls for.
Yes, I remember the last artist, she would just sit there and waiting for the inspirations to come. It's like she imagined herself like some tool or something, and like empty. Like she doesn't got the idea herself, but she can wait. The ideas can wait, and also this artist, like she doesn't have a plan like before she creating the artist the pieces, but it's like the idea comes while she was doing the artist pieces.
Right. Okay. Excellent work. So let me come back to all of you, and then we can. Okay, so this is an interesting concept because she says, my work originates from a process, not from an idea. Let's think about the way you all work. Do you have an idea first, and then you try and create something? Or do you just start working and then, I don't know, something becomes created? Or maybe there's a combination of the two. Jana.
Me?
Yeah.
I think I'm more like the artist. I have an idea initially, but then I never go through it because I keep changing. So I start right away with practical, and then the rest comes by itself.
So you say you have some sort of idea at the beginning?
Yes, but then it fades away.
Then it fades away. Okay, let's see
Yes.
somebody else. How about you, Hanshu? Your approach to... You have to turn on your microphone.
No, I have no idea.
You have no idea?
No.
So what do? You just start, I don't know, what, painting or putting together things?
No, I'm not painting. I'm just listening and wondering what's happening. I have no idea to say.
You have no, okay. That kind, I don't know, that kind of leaves me perplexed because you haven't supported what you're saying. But let me come back to you. How about you, Catherine?
In fact, in academy, all teachers asked for some drawing sheets before doing some art. They ask us to make a project and to draw a project. So we have to have an idea. We cannot, or we can say, my idea is to let the element create using my hands to do something themselves. But I don't think any teacher in our academy will accept this kind of approach because it's very conceptual art. So maybe in painting, maybe it's possible, but actually, for example, with my teacher of sculpture, we don't work like that.
Okay, so she says that she doesn't think that professors would accept this type of approach.
I'm not sure. They can, but I'm not sure. Maybe in
okay,
picture.
so I'm
but
kind
in
of
sculpture-
grinning. I'm kind of grinning because this can open up a whole conversation about what is the way to teach art.
But we are in a school, so we have to fulfill the process and the method. So we have to do
Yes,
the
but I think that's as biennial students, you should already have your own process well focused on. Therefore,
yes, I remember I am on the first step of the study. I'm the third year of sculpture, so I'm not with them.
Oh, you're a triennial student?
Yes.
And so why are you in this course?
Because next summer I have ceramic on Saturday morning. So this is the only way for me to make English and in your course of advanced level, because on the Tuesday it would be very boring for me.
Okay, so can we say that Catherine is an imposter? Sara Onofrieti, Catherine is an imposter?
No.
Okay.
No.
Anyway, so let's ask Sara. What? How about your process of
I'm not an
writing?
artist.
You're not an artist. What are you?
Yeah, because I'm from the course of curatela artistica, so.
So you do exhibit exam? Oh no, your museum studies.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so I won't ask that question to you. I'll ask somebody else. Zhang Na, are you an artist?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm quite agree with this artist's process, because I usually in a normal life, and I will see something or find something interesting or touched me, and I will collect them, like a photo, like a small sketch, or any other even some goods. And then I will think about why I'm interested with this thing. And then I have some sort of ideas, and I do some research, and then it's step by step becomes a piece of work. That's
Okay,
my
so
process.
that's an interesting way to put it, because if you think about, if we even go back to the poem of Emily Dickinson, and she calls the flower a flask of dew. So it's a container that's receptive, right? And things
Yeah.
come into it. And in some way, what Zhang Na said and Christian Lord speaks about, it's just being like an open container towards the experience of life. And those things lead to the artistic creation.
Yes, I think in a deep level, the things touched me in normal life, it will have some meaning in like logic way, or in the mental way, or in the logic of the word. So I will think about those points that touched me or even hurt me. Yeah, I think there's a reason I've been touched by them.
Good, very good. Okay, let's continue with the reading. Okay, Zhang Na, can you read, please? So this is, before you read, I'm sorry, this is the transcript of the video that I wanted everybody to look at. I don't know if you had a chance to do that, but I would like you to look at the video. I mean, if you didn't have a chance to do it before, please try and look at it. Okay, so read.
Okay. Sarah Blair Manning, welcome to Gone By. Christian Lore is this year's featured artist. Her work is closely connected to the nature.
Wait, accept 1 second. Okay, here it is. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm reading my PDF.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Her work is closely connected to the natural world, and you will find evidence of this when you go and visit her beautiful sculptures and drawings in Orchard Gallery.
Okay, continue.
Yes, so we are here at Gombai Hao. I have been invited to do a project with the Natural Trust. I've been invited by, and there are lots of visitors every day. When everybody leaves, I really like to stay and stroll around. This is how my work starts.
Okay, what is the meaning of stroll?
Like walk randomly around the space.
Okay, also in a relaxed way.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's have Georgia continue.
When you're an artist and when you do art, it's really essential to be alone because you are observing and you decide what is important for you. And in a way, you feel like a kind of mirror. You go
Okay,
through
stop,
the landscape.
Stop. What does that mean? You feel like a kind of mirror.
You have to look inside of you and not to be distracted by other things so
Okay.
that the inspiration can come to your mind and you don't think to the others.
All right. So that's what. Wait, Georgia, I'm going to have you continue reading, but I want somebody else to tell me. Barbara, why do you think she says you have to feel like a kind of mirror?
I think she means that you reflect in your way, in your view, everything that you came in contact with. So that's what I see it as.
Okay. All right.
As reflecting.
And, reflecting. And Sarah, do you agree?
I agree with Barbara. Yes, I think it's the reflection. Yeah, I don't know how to say of what you have around you. Also, is important.
This sentence kind of, I don't know, it's unusual for me because you're observing and you decide what is important for you, and in a way you feel like a kind of a mirror. So we think about the reflective quality of a mirror, but if you are a mirror, you reflect everything that is around you, and it's almost as if you are what is around you.
Yeah, kind of like the poem, sort of what we were talking about with being a rose or transforming in a rose. I also think that has to do with the fact that she says that you need to be alone, kind of like we said last week, you need to be still, or the quietness. Also because you are influenced by everyone and everything, and that's also what it means to be a mirror. So sometimes you have to reflect on your own. You can be always influenced by others.
Right.
Yeah, but she said that you have to decide what is important for you. She decide what is important for her. So I think it's like a mirror, but you see what is important for you, what is not, what you like, what you're not. So it's like being a mirror of what you want, maybe.
Oh, good, because a mirror selects, right?
Exactly.
Excellent. Okay, Georgia, continue.
You go through the landscape and you will notice things, small things, hidden things. This is creating your path and your position. I think as an artist is the gesture towards the gesture towards the world that is creating the artwork.
Okay, so this is kind of complicated. What does that mean? This is creating your path and position. In your opinion, Georgia? You notice things, small things, hidden things. This is creating your path and your position.
Maybe that when you're alone in the landscape, when you're alone without be distracted by the others, you can focus on the small thing that you will never notice if you were with the others. And then you can create your world, your imagination.
Okay, right.
Maybe, I don't know.
So your experience creates the direction of your work. Maybe, Georgia?
Yes, I think so.
All right.
Because when I'm with the others, I don't, I can't see my thoughts and my opinion, because I'm distracted by the others and okay.
Okay. All right. Good. Jang Na, can you continue reading, please?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. When you see my drawings, you might think of botanical constructions, but for me, it's not that at all. For me, it's not about something we know. The lines are exploring the space of paper, the two-dimensional space. The differences of the lines, some are strong and very straight, and some are exploring in a more playful way. I'm really interested in understanding what is happening when I'm doing something. So one line is cutting the paper, and other lines are dividing it in a lot of sections. The action that I'm doing it is influencing the non-touched part of me. And I think it really has to do with life, to try to find a certain proportion between activity and inactivity. It's very abstract, but every time I do a drawing, the drawing is telling me about itself.
Kind of complicated here. Barbara, what do you have to say? She says, the action that I am doing is influencing the non-touched part of me. What is this non-touched part?
I think this has to do with a lot of things we talked about before, also, because we were talking about the material that she uses, the gravity, the mathematics, and the way that it relates to nature, and the way she says that nature in a way contributes to the creation of the artwork itself. And that's the same thing she says here with her drawings. And also I see it as that what she doesn't do is just as important as what she does. And that relates to the negative and positive space.
And the positive space.
What she chose, chooses not to do influences the work just as much as what she chooses to do.
Joël Rouet, what do you think of that?
I'm sorry. I was distracted.
You were distracted?
Yes.
Okay. So let me ask somebody else. Oh, goodness. Han Shu, what do you think she was talking about when she says, the action that I'm doing is influenced the non-touched part of me? What is the non-touched part of her? You have something to add to what Barbara said? Are you there, Han Shu?
Yes, I'm here. I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
Non-touched part of me. Non-touched. It means where she's never been before, right? The part you found a new version of herself.
Okay, 1 second.
Oh.
I'm sorry to insist on this, but I find it such an interesting concept. The non-touched part of me. Valeria?
Maybe with non-touch part, she talk about her soul or her spirit. So don't touch part because the influence, because she said before that she don't have idea when she makes art. So maybe she doesn't make art with hands, but with the earth and with her soul. So she makes art with her feeling about something else.
Yes. Oh, okay, so I have something to add to that, but I want to hear Zhang Na before I say something.
Yeah, I want to add something that I think the untouched part is its relation to the unconscious part of the human's mind, and it has also remind me of the before the artist, I forgot her name, and she said that that part is so big, but no one pays attention to it, and I think it
So
means that.
the unconscious part, because for example, so I'll ask the question to Zhang Na. When you create something, do you ever have the sense that you don't know where that came from?
Yes, always, and that's the part I'm thinking about in my work.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, so let's continue the reading because time is passing. Excellent work, everybody. Okay. Barbara, read. For sure.
For sure, the pencil drawings are quite fast, but I have other drawings with all pastels, and after a very spontaneous beginning, it really happens that I end up spending days to think where the next line could be. Maybe this is also the red line between the sculptures and the drawings. In a way, both have a lot of elements, but the aim is to create a unit.
Okay. Salvatore, read.
Yes. Yesterday we went to take some horsehair because I plan to do a sculpture with it. Each horsehair is a kind of very special and beautiful thing, and for me it's such much more interesting than using plaster, or wood, or stone. I am really getting into a collaboration with the material. I go where the material leads me, and I try to do what is possible.
Okay, so stop. What does
Yes.
that mean, a collaboration with the material, in your opinion, after reading everything that she has said?
The collaboration, I think, the balance with the material he choose to use.
Okay, so he says the balance. Elisa, what do you agree with him, or do you have something to add to that? Getting into a
Yes, I think is collaboration with the material is just not her work, but she with the material do things also with the material and the gravity, because in the she take natural things and she create that one, and she understand the material and play with it with that things, and
Okay.
I create for with the gravity create the maybe a sculpture, but a different sculpture, because it's not like marble, but it's natural, and is transformed, and is different.
All right. Angela, do you want to add something to this? When she speaks about collaboration with the material?
Well, I think she already said, my colleague already said,
okay.
I agree with her, yeah, so.
All right.
So I don't know what to add exactly.
All right. So if you have
Can I?
Yes, who's speaking?
Yeah, Sheree.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I'm sorry I was distracting. Now I'm following, so I want to add some opinion about this collaboration with the material. For me, the collaboration is like the artist does not consider the material as some object, but consider it as a partner, as a subject. some partner can play with and work with, like the material also give the work something.
Okay. All right. So you've added a few things here. I want to add something else just to what Elisa said. If you have a material, right, any type of material, it is the nature of the material that determines how you work with it. So for example, you can't take wood, right, and make it do the same thing that horsehair will do. Elisa?
It's different because wood maybe there is the action of the artist, but that is a different things. It's a different. It's a natural like wood, but is used in different way.
It used a different way because the material determines how you use it. But wait, what do you, Catherine? You're our sculptor. What do you have to say?
Yes, I wanted to say something about the collaboration with the materials, the reciprocity of this collaboration. It's because when you discover a new material, something one teaches you, and you have to be receptive of all the quality and the performance of this material, not to let it order you something, but to learn the better way to attain the better result of the in your art. For example, about I don't know to translate, la cera da fonderia, the grease, maybe it's a grease.
Wax.
No, wax. Yes, wax. Yes, thank you. I didn't knew it last year, and I was quite afraid because you have to warm it, and my hands are always very cold, so I had difficulties to obtain something, and I had to let the wax give me the chance to do something with it. So there is the collaboration when one is to be waiting for something, and the problem is that once you know how it works, you have to control it. The collaborations with reciprocity ends at the moment you know how it works.
Okay. I like the word that I liked best that you used was receptive. So you have to be receptive to the qualities of the material in order to be able to work with it.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you control it. So for me,
okay,
it's
but
a good way.
I'm not so sure about the word control, because sometimes you have to let it do. Yeah, it's a fine line, Catherine, because
yes,
if you control it too much,
you have to take the decision.
Yeah.
Or you let the material influence you in your result, or you don't let it this decision. You keep it for you. For example, I made a face. I wanted to make a face very soft. And at the end, I realized something very strong with an expression very hard. So I let the wax decide. And I used this performance to create something, I think, pretty, quite beautiful. But it was not my idea at the beginning of the work.
It was not your idea at the beginning.
But I've been satisfied, and I let it go.
And you let it go. Excellent. Okay, so continue reading. I go.
Me? Where were we?
I would like just to continue after collaboration with the material.
Okay, I go where the material leads me, and I try to do what it's possible. Kind of idea. Here, it is the moment of spring where the dandelion is growing. First, you have the yellow plant, and then it develops the white ball, and I'm working with it. I will do some sculptures of it. For me, it really feels like a radical act to put something very small and delicate in a big space. Something very small can be very rich and strong and tell you a lot about the world. I'm sorry, it's very little, so...
Oh, I'm sorry. It's my screen that, sharing the screen
That's
makes it. But you said
my
it.
eyes. My eyes.
No. You read it perfectly. Okay. So let me come back 1 second. So are you all familiar with Christian Lohr's work? Not really. So I will share the screen and show you some examples of her. I don't know, maybe not many of you have seen the video. So I'll show you examples of her sculptures within a museum space or a gallery space, and then her drawings. And from there, we'll go on to read about the art market. And then I'll explain the homework. You've got some big homework. Wait a second. Let me just find this stuff first. So, Christiane Lohr. Okay. Okay. So, okay, so we're seeing these small works of art, quite large on the screen, okay? Because we're focusing on the work of art. But you have to imagine, you'll see how small they are when I show them to you within the gallery space. So as you can see, she always works with natural elements. This, for example, is a combination of horsehair and other types of seeds. Little bits of plants, dried plants. Okay, so now you're beginning to be aware, if you look at this photograph, of the dimension of these sculptures. And I think we can say, when she says she works with mathematics in order to understand how to place the forms and how they work together, we can find a very structured organization to these natural elements. Okay, so I'll just go through it quickly because I'd like to show you how they look in a gallery space. This is horsehair. These are dandelion seeds, I don't know, collected into some sort of a natural container, bag. And these are also dandelion seeds. Horsehair again. Okay, so let's look at exhibitions. So just imagine, these are about this, maybe the size of a thumb. This photograph comes from an exhibition that she did at Villa Panza in 2010, I think.
I have a question, maybe you.
Yes.
It's about the temporarity of this artwork. I was wondering if it stays, you know, how long it's still.
That's an excellent
stays.
question. Right, because since
Like
they're all
like the banana of Catalan.
Since they're all natural elements, I think maybe she chooses things that I don't know. As you're right, after a while, these things kind of disappear.
Yes, in fact, I have some flowers at it's Helichrysum italicus. It's a flower we use in Corsica to make products of beauty, and we call it immortal because this kind of flower stays. When it's dry, you can have it a long time. But even this can disappear.
They're right.
So what she uses to create some art and how long it stays in the same state.
That's right. And so we can say that it has a kind of an ephemeral quality.
Yes. I was wondering.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, but I think it could stay a couple of years because I see the color is not really fresh. Maybe she did it before, like dried out a little bit. And I have a couple of Yuan Tong. Sorry.
Yuan Tong.
Yeah.
I didn't see your name before.
Yeah, I arrived a little late. Sorry.
Oh, okay, because I wanted to call on you to read, but I didn't see your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. And I keep talking, and I have a couple of roses and some leaves from bouquets I bought before, and they are still standing up. I think if once it's dried out, it can stay for a really long time.
Okay, all right. But it's interesting because it can stay for a really long time, but does it become smaller and smaller and smaller? I wonder.
Like that depends if it's a leaf or the stem or like a twig. Usually if it's like a paddle, it contains a lot of water. That kind of material, it shrinks a lot.
Yes.
But other kind, it's quite normal. It doesn't shrink much.
So we can say that her art gradually, even if it will take time, but it gradually becomes transformed.
Yeah, more or less, yes.
Okay, this is one of her bigger pieces. I don't know what's inside of here. I think it's all pollen, maybe. Look at how small these are. And this is horsehair, if you can see it. Okay. And then, oops, sorry. The drawings, all right, are like this. So they're in some way connected to her work, I think, because they appear to me to be very kind of organic. They somehow follow
they look like fiber.
They look like fiber. Yeah. And they follow the gesture of natural elements, no? The shapes and the direction.
Yes.
The texture too that she chose to represent this.
Also the texture, right? Very much in touch with the texture. Okay, so these are examples of drawings, and most of them I think are pastels. This is, I think this pencil. All right, so let's go back to our lesson. And for example, this is an oil pastel on paper by Christiane Laure, 2012. It's 22 by 20 centimeters. How much does it cost? Yuan Tong.
Yes.
How much does it cost?
$11,000.
$11,000. Huh? Okay, so let me come back. Barbara, what do you have to say about that?
About the price
about
of
the
the
price.
work?
About the price.
I don't know.
Okay, Barbara, your connection is not so good. So 1 second, hold, Barbara. Yontong, what do you have to say about the price? Is that a reasonable price?
I think it's like every other artwork in the market. Like it depends on the who made this piece.
Okay.
And also what the market considers is valuable. I don't know.
Okay, so what determines the price of a work of art? That's what that slide was about. For example, let's see, who's an artist here? Because you say it's not all of you are artists. Salvatore, are you an artist?
No.
It says no. Okay,
No.
Jana, are you an artist?
More or less, not a good one, let's say.
Okay, so she's being modest. She's being modest. If you sell a drawing, how much would you sell it for?
Since I'm not a famous artist and maybe my drawings are not that authentic, I don't know, maybe 100, 50 or 50.
50? No. Wait, have you ever sold a drawing?
No, I never sold a drawing, so that's why I said that price, because I think that you have to start small and then grow.
Okay,
or
wait a second.
increase the price.
All right, so now Catherine is just laughing and giggling there. Why?
Because we are not good at business. We are not good at business. We have to pay someone to sell it for us because
okay. So listen to that, what she said. We have to pay someone to sell it for us. So let's go back to that lesson very quickly because time is running out. That's a good point. Well, that's not, I don't know. It's an interesting point, let's say. Because be careful now. Be very careful when you say you have to have somebody sell it for you. Oh, Santo Cielo, what happened?
They take half the price for them.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Be careful. All right. So look, everybody. So here's the art. Oh, wait, no. So the art market. We have the artist. Okay. And you can give the artist several names. I won't go reading all of these names. Maybe visual artist is the best name that we can give to you as artists, instead of saying that you're a designer or a printmaker, because visual artist means that you can, your work can go in many ways. You can even combine sculpture with drawing. All right. Then we have the work of art. And I would use to speak about the work of art, I would use either work of art, artwork, or piece. Okay. Christiane Laure says work. The more correct term would be artwork or piece. Then we have supply and demand. This is the concept of that is applies to the market in general, not only to the art world. Supply is the amount of something that's available for use. So I don't know, Basquiat, for example, did a limited amount of paintings in his life. So if his work is on the art market, right, there's only a limited supply of his work. And then demand, the desire of the consumers for a particular thing. These two things determine the artwork. So how much of that thing is available, and how much do people want to buy it? Or why, yeah, how much do people want to buy it? Okay, but let's look at other aspects of the artwork. So who is interested in an artist's work? We have public, right? So there are possible buyers, we have and art lovers. And then we have galleries. Galleries sometimes buy your work. They create shows to promote artists. They sell artwork, but they don't sell artwork just to be nice to the artist, right? Sometimes they take 30 to 70% commission on sales. So they sell it and then they take from 30 to 70% away from the price of the artwork. Then, as Catherine said, we're not business people, artists, so sometimes they need agents. What do agents do? They seek exposure for the artist's work. They seek to make the artist well known, right? And they seek galleries, and sometimes they take a 30% commission on sales. So let's say you have an agent. The agent takes 30%, and then you have a super famous gallery, and the super famous gallery takes 70% on your work of art. What do you earn, Catherine?
Peanuts.
You earn the glory. You earn the glory. Then we have collectors. Now, collectors are nice because they're not you don't have to have anybody else who's taking a commission on it. They are just interested on, well, no, I'm sorry. That's imprecise. But people who buy art for interest or for investment. So what would be nice is if you had a collector contact you personally, and not through a gallery or through an agent. That would be perfect because then you earn everything yourself. However, collectors sometimes rely on galleries and agents. So therefore, the money gets, divided between galleries and agents. Another way that an artist can, have some attention towards his or her work is if a curator decides to do a show about the artist's work. Now, when you get to this level here of museums and curators, because curators usually work for museums, but also for galleries and cultural centers. But when you get to this part here, you're already famous if a curator has decided to do a show of your work. So in a museum, it's the official site for showing art, and it's the ultimate recognition for an artist. So when, I don't know, Palazzo Strozzi will do a show of Catherine's sculptures, that will be the ultimate recognition of her work. Then we have art critics. Now, the work of the art critic can be very important in creating exposure for the artist, because so let's see, the art critic is most often an art historian. The art critic will give an opinion, more or less. I don't know about the quality of the artwork, but it will describe the artwork and it will say this is something very interesting, blah blah blah, in that person's opinion. And if the art critic is famous, it can even determine his criticism or her criticism can even determine the value of a work of art. So if I can't think of one at the moment, but Dorfles was something that comes to my mind, but he's not alive anymore. If Dorfles decides he sees your work, saw your work, and decided that this was something that was very interesting. You have an article published, if you had an article published by Dorfles on your work just goes up to the stars. Another place where your artwork can be sold is in an auction house. That's a place where you have a lot of people who sit down and then somebody presents a work of art for them and they say, okay, let's say this work starts at $1,000. Does anybody want to pay $1,000 for it? And then somebody says, yes, I'll pay $1,000. Then another person says, well, I'll pay $1,500. And they go on until you get to a price that nobody wants to pay more for. And then another way that your work can become famous is if a publisher will write about you, right? Will create a monograph about your work. Now, in your lesson, I underlined it here because I made a mistake. I wrote monologue. I meant to write monograph. Okay, so I'll just go quickly because I'm out of time here. The homework, right, is a written comment. Okay, so be very careful when you read the instructions and when you think about doing this, because I'm going to show you exactly the way I want you to do it. So you choose a work of art by Agnes Martin in the first part. Then you choose a comment or an idea from the readings that you found most interesting, okay? Write a short paragraph in which you describe her work in relation to the comment and idea, and you speak about perception and experience in her art. It's a paragraph, a short paragraph.
Sorry.
The next, yes.
Sorry. So the comment or idea is the artist idea, not our idea of art.
All right. So let me show you. Let me just finish reading, and then who is speaking? I'm sorry.
Valeria speaking.
Valeria, I will show you exactly what I mean. First, I'll just read this, and then I'll show you. I have an example. That's a good question. And the same thing for Christian Lor. You choose a work of art, then you choose a comment or an idea that you found the most interesting from her readings, and then you write a short paragraph in which you describe her work in relation to that comment or idea, because that's what you found the most interesting. All right. So for Agnes and Martin, you're going to be concentrating on experience and perception, and for Lore, dimension and experience. But okay, so look, for example, at this. So this is more or less what your homework would look like. So you choose your image, you copy and paste it, you write the name of the piece and then the artist. Then here is, for example, I've chosen this. I found, let's say I'm student X, a student Adoya, and the thing that I chose from the readings of Agnes Martin is the response to beauty is emotion, sometimes very subtle emotions of which we are almost not aware, and sometimes our most powerful emotions. Beauty is blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I chose this. Then I speak about this in relation to the concepts that I said in the homework. The same thing with Christian Lord, the image, the name, Christian Lord, the quote from the reading, and then your personal ideas about these things. Wait, can you see me now, or do you see the screen still?
Only you, not the screen.
Just me. Okay. I'm sorry. So you see me, not the screen, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Do you understand?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I gave you even, if you'd like, I can post the example so that you know more or less what you're doing. Okay, so I chose those images. I don't want you to choose the same images. You choose them if you like them, but it's not as if you have to choose the images that I chose. You have to look at Christian Lohr's work. You have to look at Agnes Martin's work and choose the one that you find best works with your ideas about Agnes Martin or Christian Lohr. Is that clear?
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
In the Agnes Martin's work, we have to concentrate on the experience and perception. Instead, for the other artists, perception and?
It's written in the lesson, but I think it's dimension and experience. But I mean, I wrote that. If you think you want to talk about something else, you're free to do that. It doesn't have to be, I mean, I wrote that, but if you want to talk about something other than dimension, maybe you want to talk about space. That's fine for me. Okay? Don't feel too restricted. I don't want you to feel restricted. Any other questions? Anshu, what is this? 1091.
Presentazione.
Pardon
Presentation.
me?
No, registrazione, firma. Niente.
Oh,
Perché
okay, that wasn't necessary, but
I gotta go.
all right. Oh, so
Go,
you're going
okay?
now?
Yeah, I'm going now. So,
Goodbye.
have a nice weekend. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. All right. Does anybody else have any questions?
Is okay around 10 lines or something like that, or you want them longer?
What did I say? I said a short paragraph. Don't send me 2 pages.
Of course not.
1 page.
For
You
both.
Okay.
1 page for both.
Yes, 1 page with
Great.
both comments.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Anything else?
I have a question.
Yes.
Since I wasn't in the course the first 2 lessons, I couldn't do the assignments. So I wanted to know if I could do it now and send it, even if it's completed. I know you already graded for the other students.
Okay, so Barbara, what I would say, let's leave that. If you want to, you can do it. You send it to me, but
Okay.
I will probably not have time to correct it.
Okay.
But at the end of the semester, right? If we find that you don't, that you want to add that, at that point I will correct it.
Okay. Okay.
All right?
So I will do it for
Okay.
my own sake now, and then later.
Right, and then
Okay.
later it will be corrected.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? No.
Teacher.
Yes.
You haven't graded my first assignment yet.
Did you send it to me late?
Before I send it.
But did you send it late?
The first time, no late, no late, but you haven't. So the second lesson, I said it, and you said you will grade it.
Okay,
But you
listen.
don't.
No, wait a second. Zhang Lingyong, I did grade it, but maybe you're not looking at it on the computer.
I use the computer.
But I graded it.
You just graded the second lesson, but you don't graded the first lesson.
No, I graded the first lesson because I have the grade right here in front of me. Okay, so Zhang Lingyang remains, and everybody else can go. If you don't have any questions. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Zhang Lingyang
Bye.
remains. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.
I use the computer.
Yuan Dong, bye. Well, I don't know what to tell you because I have the grade right here. 1 second. Let me look. No. No, where is it? JK.